hanging out, they'll be like, "Oh, yo, you black?" And I'll be like, "Nah, I'm Dominican." And then they'll just look at me, with a weird look. But I was always thinking ethnicity, not race, and I was always like not trying to associate too much with the black culture, knowing, I grew up in the neighborhood. I had a lot of the customs. I liked their music. I liked, that sports. So I was basically one of them. I was, if anything, I'm more black than Dominican in some way or another. I'm just, a black person who can speak Spanish and can move his hips. Like there's nothing, too special.
Well, you said you touched on your DNA test.
Right. I did it about 2 months ago, and I found out I was 50% West African and 30% from the Iberian Peninsula. So the Iberian Peninsula is right Portugal and Spain. So, I mean, it makes sense with the slave trade and the triangular trade. Yeah. So I started doing some research to see which tribes were sent over, because I'm primarily from Nigeria. So I wanted to see which tribes from Nigeria were sent over to the Dominican Republic, and I found like 3 or 4. And I wanted to see if I could find any pictures, see if I could see any facial characteristics that I can align myself with. Because I don't think black people go that deep to find out where they are from, like their tribes and like where in Africa.
So how much did it cost?
It costs like $60, $70.
Oh, that's why black folks don't.
I was just curious because I kept seeing like the ads all over the place. So I was just like, you know what? And my grandmother, she's lighter than me, but I told her, I was like, "Hey, grandma, we're African." She was like, "No, we're not." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She was denying it, and I was just like, I was like, "Grandma, what's wrong with being African?" She was like, "I'm not African."
She's like, "You from Africa? You African?" I'm from Crenshaw Mountain. Grandma from Crenshaw Mountain.
So yeah, I definitely recommend it. Just some extra insight, peace of mind, to some degree.
Right.
Well, you know what? It's funny because I think a lot of white people they was like, they wanted to say niggas so bad, they was like, just come on, I'm like 1% black.
Right.
I get 1% African. Like, oh yeah, I can just say the word. They walk around with their paper like, hey, I'm 2%, I'm 1%. I can say it too.
Now, what got me was, if I go back to my 2 earliest memories, was the first time I seen a football game was the Eagles and the Redskins. I was about 5, 6 years old, and I said, boom, that's what I want to do. And then the second thing I remember was Roots. I don't know if you guys remember Roots. So that was like my first, I guess I could say the first time I realized what I wanted to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I wanted to be a football player, and then Roots was like, that was like, wow, this is what it was to be a slave. To me, that was my identity. That's all I know, that I wanted to be a football player, and I didn't want to be a slave. You see what I'm saying? That's who I was. I was like,
that's real.
I didn't want to be a slave because I knew that wasn't happening. So, but football actually was good for me because they carried me through high school. If it wasn't football, I would not have made it out of high school. My father lived in Pennsylvania. My mom was in North Carolina. And my mom, like a lot of moms, worked all the time. She worked 6, 7 days a week. I was, by the time I was 14, I was her size. Yeah. So she tried to beat me and spank me, but she hurt her hand. I'm trying to play football. So that wasn't, so I understood that, not having that father around, because my father, he was in my life enough for me to be influenced by him. But long story short, all I ever wanted to do was play football, have a beautiful wife. I wanted to have, my dream was to have a beautiful girl on the side. I was going to make a lot of money playing football and do business. I never crossed my mind who I was.
Would that be considered the Black American dream?
That was my Black American dream.
Yeah.
I never thought about nothing else. I didn't think really about knowing who I was from Africa. I didn't think about what it is to how to treat women.
Right.
How to be an influence on myself or the community. And then when I picked up, I was depressed when my parents separated, but when I picked up my first bottle of beer, like at the age of 11 or 12, boom, I was happy. That took away all my pain and frustrations. They went away. But then I became an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And so then that was my identity. I was a black man in America, a young teenager, with a dream to be a football player and an alcoholic. That's who I was until I got out of high school. I went to college. I didn't make it.
So if your parents would have stayed together, you probably wouldn't have been an alcoholic, and you probably would have gone to college.
If my parents had stayed with my father the way he was, I can almost guarantee you I probably would have went to college and played football. I ain't say I made it to the pros, but I would at least been able to play one college football game. Because it's evident. Because when I'm around my father, things was different. And when I would go stay with him in Philadelphia in the summer, things was different. It was always about, it was always molding me.
Yeah, structure.
Preparing me.
Yeah.
Structuring, preparing me for life to be independent. But
what was he doing to prepare
just
you for life?
Talking to me, like if he would get up and go to work on Saturdays, he didn't care how long I stayed out Friday night. Get up, let's go. And then you want to eat, don't you? Then let's get up, let's go. Where mom was different. Mom, where the food? Mom gonna put food on that table for you. She not asking you. She not asking you to be worthy of it. You see what I'm trying to say? She not asking you to earn your keep. Pop is. He's always installing. You're not gonna get nothing for free. You gotta work hard if you want anything. So he started installing that in me. So even growing up, though, I ultimately became a good worker. But so I had, I never really knew who I was. And then if you would have asked me, I went through Black America, African American, Black American. Then I got to the point where I was just American.
Right.
I went through all those phases. And then to try to sum it up, I now know I'm African. You cannot dispute that. No African American dispute that. Now they can dispute it. I got a boxer who makes millions of dollars, and he says I'm American, and I'm like, brother, you're not American. First of all, American is a nationality. That doesn't mean the team you was on, the country where you was born. But if you think about it, African means if you took a Chinese American and you took him to any country in this world, there's one country he's gonna look like those people. What country is that? China. You okay? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you take me, it's one continent in this world you're gonna take me to. You can drop me off, and nobody will know who I am, know that I'm not from there unless I talk, and that's Africa. So just because you're still an African and bring them to America, how the hell does that change me from being an African? I don't understand how black people don't get that. We are from Africa. That's who we are. Our DNA take us back there. We look like, I see sisters every day. When I watch African videos, I like to watch the music videos and stuff. I see sisters every day that look like my cousins. They look like the girl around the corner. We look just like Africans. How the hell can we say because somebody stole us from Africa 300-400 years ago, we no longer African?
Well, I think where the problem comes in with that is we disassociate because they disassociate from us a lot of the times. I think when Africans come to America, they look at us like cotton pickers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But like when we go over there to visit them, they're a little bit more welcoming because we bring money and we bring they're like, yeah. So I think that's the difference. Is like I said, the dude had the one little thing where he talks about how a lot of Africans don't like us because we don't know our history, but like that's not even our fault though. You know what I'm saying? So. I think that's the difficulty. Is like we're like the nowhere man. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? We're not really. We have a nomad mentality because we ain't welcome nowhere.
Yeah.
I also think that just Americans here or Black Americans here, they think of Africa as just savage.
Yeah.
Like, lions and just
Yeah.
all over the place.
Shaka Zulu. Just everybody.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me say this real quick. My mom went on a cruise about a month ago. And she went to Haiti, she went to Puerto Rico, and a couple other places. And she got back, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so glad this trip was so wonderful. I want to do some more traveling." And she said, "I want to go to Paris, maybe Japan." And I said, "Well, Mom, what about Africa?" She said, "Oh no." I said,
like,
"Mom,
I'm good."
She said, "I'm good." I said, "Why you don't want to go to Africa?" She said, "Oh, Africa doesn't do it for me." And I was like, "Africa's the most beautiful continent. You know what? White people all over this world want to go to Africa. In fact, they're over there now, enjoying Africa, the resources or whatever. Why is it that we African Americans don't identify with that? I don't understand it. I just cannot understand the richest continent in the world, and we don't want to be associated with it. We'd rather be here and be associated with, I don't know, rims, car, all that material that we love here, is nothing compared to the wealth that Africa has.
Well, I think that's been perpetuated, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's put in front of us. You know what I'm saying? That's what's, like, dangled in front of us as a distraction. You know what I'm saying? It's like you worried about your diamond grill and gold. And, like, back home, we're not even tripping on that stuff. We just, like, we're probably throwing away gold nuggets.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
that's what I'm saying. It's so rich there. It's like...
We're using that piece of gold to knock a lion upside the head.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. We have no. I think African Americans, we keep ourselves in this little bottle called America.
Right.
And this world is full of people that's willing to explore, to learn, to grow. And it's like African Americans, you give me a good job or a contract, that's all I need. I'm done. I'm cool. And it's like life is so much more than just a contract or a good job. It's like this is a planet. This is a universe. And we just digging hard to just say I'm African American, I'm American. It's like, God, we missing so much, man. And we're not taught to even think about outside of America.
Right.
Almost like a slave, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because
a plantation slave is like if master went to sleep, those slaves didn't run.
They stayed.
They went to sleep
back.
with master. You see what I'm saying? I'm talking about why is it? I feel the same way. Here we are. We're free now, allegedly. We're supposed to be free, and we still on the plantation. We refuse to go anywhere. Few of us have enough balls to.
Well, because like, you know, I was noticing that they say only 5% of black people that go to universities get their education outside of the U.S. And that's pitiful when you consider, like, the Europeans is only getting educated for free. So think about that system right there. The Europeans is getting free education.
And like Norway.
Right.
And
In Africa?
Scandinavia.
In Africa?
No, in Europe.
In Europe, okay.
So Europe gives their citizens free education.
Free education.
So they ensure that the future is going to be more educated than anywhere else. You know what I'm saying?
Feel that.
So you think about America, we over here paying, but like we can't even use our education because we got a mortgage on top of it most of the time. You know what I'm saying? And we got to pay this off before we can start our business.
I was overhearing this kid talk to someone the other day, and they were like, "Oh, you know, did you graduate?" And he was like, "Yeah, I just graduated, but I'm finding it hard to find a job." And I was just like, "No, it's like, you know, you hear all the times, like all the stats and all that, where they say, you know, it's hard to find a job for college graduates, and that they graduate with X amount of debt, and like they got to start repaying it, this and that." And it's just like, why would you try to fall into that loop? You know, like try to get out of that, try to set something up for yourself where you can pay for college, or you can do it at your own pace and not get into debt.
We run full steam ahead into debt or into slavery.
Yeah, into
the system.
Yeah, I mean, we are guilty. Like, man, I got car payments, and I'm like, man, how am I gonna get out of this? And then we try. like I'm like, man, if I leave America, like I have to like sell my car to, you know what I'm saying? Because but that's how they keep us here with something. We always have somebody, you know. It's like we have so many obligations and stuff. And when people be like, well, if you don't like it here, why don't you leave? It's like, dude, I got too many obligations here to leave right now. I'm already in. I don't want y'all to say I'm a renegger because I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, he reneged on his freaking lease. So you know what I'm saying? I'm a nigga and a renegger now. He just gonna leave in responsibility. You know what I'm saying? So that was a big thing, but
it's more, to me, it's more about having the bridge between America, Africa, anywhere else in the world that we think we can make some things happen.
People should just travel in general. Like, get out. Like, get on a flight. You can drive over to Mexico if you want, but literally get out, experience some culture, see how other people live, just interact with them. The more you interact, the more human, the closer, the smaller the world seems.
Right.
Because when you go somewhere else and you see kids playing in the park with their families, and you're just like, wow, look at this. Like,
this is good.
Yeah, this is good. This is just like safe fun. Like, or you see like the kids trying to holler at a girl, and you're just like, it happens everywhere. You know, like I'm not different because I live in America.
Right.
You know, the people go through the same thing. People go have the same problems or even worse problems. They're struggling to eat, whatnot.
No. What's so your identity? Well, how you come as your identity? Would you consider yourself what?
Man, I'm still trying to figure that out, but I'm like, I don't know. I'm torn between. I go by African American because it's a generalized term. You know what I'm saying? Like most people can understand. Like it doesn't take an explanation. You know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, also too, like I've been looking into the whole Israelite thing. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe we might be. You know what I'm saying? The lost tribe of Israel. You know, so I've been You know, it's a confusing time for that right now because now you're getting to Egypt, you're getting the Kemet people coming, you got the the Hebrews showing up, you got African, so it's real confusing right now. So what I'm trying to right now I'm just trying to build from like where I am now, and just figure out, okay, what am I successful at? You know what I'm saying? What I feel like my abilities will probably tell me more about my origins. You know what I'm saying? Because whatever I'm good at doing, then I can start. Okay, this is what I was meant to do. If I'm successful at this, then let's go down this path and figure out why am I successful at this? Why am I inclined to do certain things, or you know what I'm saying, a certain way? So I've been everything, man. I've been a cholo. I've been a freaking actor.
I feel like that's good though. I feel like experimenting and trying other things is good. Like some people will like look down on that and be like, "Oh, you gotta stay one way. You gotta do one thing. Like if you're gonna ball, you gotta ball." Like I've been through all those stages. I've had different hobbies. I've had different tastes, and like I think it's helped me become who I am today.
Right.
Well-rounded.
Right.
You know.
Because I've been I grew up in southern New Mexico, so I grew up around, like, me and my sister was the only black kids in our elementary school. So growing up, it was like that racism came, but I learned how to adapt too. So one thing that it taught me, it was like when you learn how to embrace people's culture and they see that you're trying to learn, they'll accept you a little bit more. So when I started learning Spanish, and then they were like, "Oh, you speak Spanish," and I started like learning the Mexican jokes that only the Mexican people know, and then they say something, and you know what I'm saying, and they're like, "Oh, he knew about that," So I would find ways to get in like that, and I learned to be kind of political and learn how to be a little bit manipulative, because I started gangbanging when I was like 11 years old, and ever since then, like my mom moved because I went to 6 different elementary schools. I always went to another school. Like when my mom and dad were separating, my mom was always moving around every year, and I always had to meet a new bully and beat him up, and then you know what I'm saying, find acceptance in that group. Then boom, turn around a year later, have to go somewhere else and find acceptance. So I was constantly having to overcome and build. So that situation I think it kind of made me fluid in my personality, and I think it's a pro and a con, because sometimes I forget like who am I, like, but at the same time I've learned how to be certain people to be able to survive in certain situations.
So you blend in.
Yeah, exactly. So it's helped me survive. But now as a grown man, I'm like trying to figure out who am I, like, because I played so many different roles. You know what I mean? It's just
who are you that makes you the happiest? That's what you're trying to find out.
You know what? Somebody who can make people laugh and entertain. I entertain well, and everybody's like, "Man, you need to be doing comedy." I'm like, but I want to be respected. Most comedians are not respected. Like Dave Chappelle's probably like the one comedian that I feel like he's respected as a black man, a comedian, as a person. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but I think it's because of what he did.
Right.
Because if he wouldn't have done that, he just would have been another black comic.
Right. So
he would have been another Chris Rock or Chris Tucker.
So I feel like that balance. I want to be well-rounded as an individual. He can make you laugh, but he can kick your ass. He loves you. He'll love you, and he won't disrespect you, but you better respect him. Like, I want to have that balance to where, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, like, people aren't afraid of me. People respect me. They love me, and they get the same thing from me. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot, like, I don't know. I've been experiencing a lot of bitterness probably like the last 6 months to a year. Just I don't know. It's just maybe weighing in America has kind of been weighing on me recently. Just all of the stuff that's been happening with people getting killed and police officers shooting black people. And I was thinking about this the other night. I'm like, people be like good cop, bad cop. There ain't no such thing as a good cop or bad cop, because all human beings have the capacity to do good or evil. But whenever like we're not held accountable, we automatically turn to evil. You know what I'm saying? That's just human nature. If nobody's there to hold you accountable for something, you're gonna be inclined to do more evil. If you can go and grab a girl booty and ain't nobody gonna say nothing about it, and you know what I'm saying? Like it becomes a culture thing. It's like, hey, we all do it because we're not getting regulated.
That's the mob mentality.
Exactly.
Where you're in like a crowd and it's like, all right, let me just throw something. So a food fight starts, whatever.
Me and my mom was having the same conversation this morning, and I told her like the mob mentality is in police officers. One cop by himself might be, you know what I mean, a decent individual. He might be amiable and help people out. But you get him around the rest of the cops, and just that dynamic is gonna turn him into something that he probably is not regularly on by himself. It's that mob mentality, and so it's like, okay, so if you cover up for somebody who's doing something evil, but you're good all by yourself, ultimately you're an accomplice to that.
Yeah, exactly.
If I go drive somebody around and go shoot people, I'm gonna be held accountable too. So why aren't police being held accountable for, you know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother situation. That's a whole nother conversation.
Right.
But what I was saying was like going back to the mob mentality. So a lot of times, you know, just growing up and being in a situation where my homies was doing something that I didn't necessarily agree with, but those was my homies, and I always tell myself like, well, you know what? Ultimately, we us and they them, and we got the power. We can do whatever we want. And you know what I'm saying? Somebody got to win. It got to be us. Now I understand that they kids like us. They probably smoking the same batch of weed that's coming through here as us, having sex with the same girl, listening to the same music. But at the end of the day, they them and we us. So I adapted some of that mentality, but ultimately, my family is like my great granddaddy was like had like 2 college educations back when most black people couldn't even read. So we were educated people. We wasn't gangsters or criminals. You know what I'm saying? Per se. So so when me and my brother we got into gang banging and we started doing all this stuff. Hold on, let me So when we got into gang banging and stuff, when we got into gang banging and all this other stuff, it took us a while to realize that that's not what we cut from. Like all of our friends was going to prison, and they was like, "Oh, my cousin's in there." And like, man, if we get locked up, we ain't gonna know nobody in there. Like, our family ain't in there. You know what I'm saying? So we had to rethink some things. We're like,
yeah, family is like, man, family is like everything. Because I know, like for me, what helped me get through, like what helped me was when my mom and father separated. My mom moved to North Carolina. So Philadelphia, it was kind of tough. It was, you know, fights. You know what I mean? You see the fight. Everybody's tough. Everybody's, you know, getting
Especially
over on
in
each
those big
other.
inner cities.
Yeah, everybody's getting over on each other. There's no, you know, you have to earn respect.
yeah,
It's
I
not
seen
given
that. I
to
seen
you.
that brother that was tossing Will Smith around and opening credits to the Fresh Prince.
Right. So I see, you know, you see people get beat up and all that kind of stuff. And then I went to North Carolina, right? And first of all, North Carolina is one of those, you know, football, sports. They're crazy about sport. It's one place where sport, you know, whites and blacks seem to get along pretty well when it comes to sports, you know. So I was able to see that transition, and it's going down south. I see people have respect for each other. They was nice. All my friends, their mom cooked dinner. It was always come on in, get something to eat. In Philadelphia, when your friend mom cooked dinner,
You gotta go home.
they might tell your friends going home. It's time for you to eat. You know, it ain't like that in Philly.
Yeah.
So I got that hospitality in North Carolina, but I just got to see another part of life, and it changed my perspective. I knew then, and I had some Philly in me when I got older. I was always like, if somebody, you know, disrespected me or looked at me wrong, I felt like I had to, you know, stand up and
Protect your man.
But you always been a big dude though too, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you
That helped a little bit, but but you know, but what it was, I don't have to fight you because I'm insecure. So you know, you can look at me if you want. I mean, don't get me wrong. Everybody got that boiling point, but I grew to the point where I don't have to jeopardize my life, my future, for something small.
Yeah.
In other words, I'm not going to take a chance on getting killed or killing somebody and going to prison because you looked at me wrong or you stepped on my shoes or whatever. And people actually would fight over something like that. Like people like these young cats. I can't understand why like Air Jordans. First of all, you're gonna buy a pair of Air Jordans that somebody else is gonna rob you and take.
No, you're gonna stand in line. Let's take it back. You're gonna stand in line. You're gonna wait 12, 13 hours for some J's on Christmas Day, some new 11s,
and then have somebody hit you in the head and take them. So I don't know who's crazier, the guy who hit you in the head and took them that's gonna go to jail, or the guy that bought the sneakers. You know what I mean? It's like, but that's what bothers me because it's like that's America, right? But we have the power to change that. Where other countries, I can see where these people are hungry. They haven't eaten in 2 days. So for somebody to snatch a pair of Jordans in a country where you haven't eaten in 2 days, I can understand that. But America, we don't. It's like the thing about that confuses me about being African American is that how can black people be so rich and talent, intellect, and whatever, God knows whatever else, but then be so poor as like, that we don't move or advance our group, our group in technology, medicine. I mean, how many black hospitals? I know we got a few black banks now. I didn't know that. I was impressed with that.
Yeah, you sent me that article this morning with the Silicon Valley and not having enough blacks represented in technology.
Yeah, I mean, how many black hospitals that we have or law firms that we have?
Well, it's because,
and I don't mean just brown skin. I mean somebody who you can go to and they can identify with the average young cat from the streets. He'd be welcomed there. I mean, in America, I don't really feel welcome everywhere. I feel like I don't want to say tolerated.
Yeah.
I want to be nicer than that, but I feel like, okay, the door is open. We're not going to say come on in, but the door is open. You see what I'm trying to say? That's how I feel. We're black people, to me, when Africans together, it's the door is open and come on in. In fact, we're insulted if you don't come on in.
Right.
And be and commune with us. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Well, even like professionalism, man. Like every black man, I feel like got that white voice when he need to get a job. You know what I'm saying?
You need to.
But we're taught like professionalism is kind of a whitewashed word for talking like a white man. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be professional. Like you got to act like them. Like where's the industry at where I can act like me and still be successful?
That's my point.
You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like there's a place out there where it's acceptable and it's not
to be who we are, to be African or to be black, right. African American, whatever.
But not somewhere like this just serves alcohol and booties and shaking. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we always welcome there.
Yeah. The strip club. You know what I'm saying? Or the hip hop concerts. Or you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and I was talking about healthy environments where. It's okay to be black, you know what I'm saying, and unapologetically black, you know what I'm saying? I think there's not enough. I'm in a couple of chat rooms on Facebook, I'm in a couple of, and I just like, I look at the garbage that these people are talking about, they'd be like, so what you like having your ass licked with jelly or and I'm like, really? Like, how do you like having your beauty eaten? And I'm like, are you serious? And these are the kind of questions people ask. I'm like, that's not nothing you just go on a forum this large with 2,000 people and just go and ask, just a promiscuous idiot. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I be inclined to get in them conversations because it's tempting. You know what I'm saying? It's tempting because, the mentality, it's like, it's fun, but ultimately it's counterproductive. You know what I'm saying? Cause
it ain't doing nothing for you.
Right. So I was thinking last night, every once in a while a word pops out to me and I think like the true meaning of it reveals itself. Yesterday it was consequences and I was like, dang, consequences. How come consequences is never tied to nothing good? Because it's like, you think about consequences, like sequences is what? It's like a chain of events, actions, pattern, a sequence. With a sequence, consequences like negative actions always come with a sequence of events afterwards. Like, like you get in a car accident, it's going to be a long ass time before that is over with. Yeah. You're like, oh man, you just like, this is barely like the first day. I still got to, I go to court, I got to pay it. It's the sequence of events that comes with that.
You get a girl pregnant, some consequences. Yeah. 10 years after that.
So you said something that you said you was thinking about that word consequences. I was thinking about life like as a game. It's like, For us, I think we're unique. I think we're a unique group of people in this country. But life is a game. And the thing about black men, I think, this is me, coming from inner city schools or somewhere our backgrounds, is that we don't know the rules to the game and we don't know how to play the game. Okay?
That's why we don't got that sequence. Yeah.
So even if you can know how to play the game but don't know the rules to the game. Or you can know the rules to the game but don't know how to play. It's like chess. Right. My kids know that you can move this piece that way, but they don't understand the concept, like how to use that piece to push forth your agenda.
Right.
So black men, I think, in this country, not all of us, but a large majority, at least the ones that end up in prison at least, or getting themselves killed. We're not taught to think strategically. If you think about, what did I say? The first thing I saw that I identified with was football.
Yeah.
Didn't take a lot of brains. Now, when you get involved in the game on a professional level, then writing plays and all, you're starting to use strategic intellect then. But in the beginning, it's about
just
muscle. It's about power.
Yeah,
just go in there and knock somebody out. You know what I'm saying? And that's how that's what a lot of black men, we had that attitude. You see what I'm trying to say? We don't have that, okay, like chess. When I used to play chess, when I was in Saudi Arabia, I was playing chess. And when we first played, I beat all on white cats. But they started thinking they would study me. And they would start putting the traps. They would set traps for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't. And I'm trying to beat them quick. I want to hurry up so I can brag. Get your ass out of here. Who next?
Yeah.
But they was thinking, and I was trying not really to tell you the truth. It was like I was thinking I didn't really want to think. I just wanted to beat them naturally. But I started thinking. I said, man, these guys are studying me, and they setting traps for me, so they win. And I think as African American men, we are still trying to win with just brute force and emotions alone. We are not sitting back with a strategic plan, and we're not taking our time out to study our obstacles or enemies, if you will.
Our choices.
We're not
But
looking.
we fight angry. That's the thing.
That's
We're
it.
emotional because they always keep us where we in situations where we got to be angry and just our environment is toxic to where our woman's yelling at us, just like the kids is, you know what I'm saying, acting up. It's like everything around you is there. It's like being in an Amazon where just every freaking thing out there's alive trying to
Exactly.
even the plants, like dang.
But
You know
what's
what
the
I'm saying?
definition for insanity? How you say it? If you continue to do the same thing and expect different results, you're insane.
Right. Well, you
So-
know, it was good. Like once you triggered something when you said that we either know how to play the game and we don't know the rules.
Mm-hmm.
And think about it. Okay, the brothers that know how to play the game, but they don't know the rules or don't care to follow the rules, or like the drug dealers, the ones like, I'm finna go and get this money.
Right.
And they go and they play the game and they get the money, but they don't know the rules. So that's why they get locked up.
Right.
They don't care about
Right.
the rules. But us that know the rules, we don't want to put skin in the game because we're afraid. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
we know the rules, but we don't know how to play the game because we haven't put no skin in there. We
Right.
haven't invested. Like, well, you know,
We could be a little scared. We don't want to risk the, we
Right.
we don't want to get hurt.
right?
Yeah.
So there's got to be a balance of knowing the game, but also be willing to play and take a loss. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? I know a couple people that's like, you know what? Matter of fact, when I started my LLC and I started doing some research on the dude, I was like, man, this dude done did some freaking prison time, and he all legit got his business set up. And I looked up and I was like, I didn't feel comfortable after I found out like this dude, and it was like a white dude. He did like 2 or 3 years, but to him it was worth it because he got out and he realized he came back with some probably knowledge. He was in
Right.
probably like the feds,
Right.
where he was running for some white collar criminals. He came out,
So he
probably-
learned something.
exactly. So to him, them 3 years was like going to college.
It's like going to college.
Us, we don't realize like that kilo came with 20 years and you got one
Right.
play and you're done. You know what I'm saying?
You're done. You're
so
done.
so a lot of times I think, you know, white people are willing to sacrifice 2 or 3 years. Like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna take 2 or 3 years robbing these people of their, you know what I'm saying, assets. I'm gonna go get locked up for a couple of years, but I'm gonna come back to like $500,000 and then I'm gonna restart my business. They think about taking.
Shane, what did I tell you? I said the white man think legacy,
Right.
black man think retirement. So
Right.
white man starting to do issues that he ain't even gonna see, but his great grandchildren is gonna benefit from
Right.
it. That's what kills black people. We never think long term like that. I mean, like my parents, most black folks that I grew up with, they didn't leave their kids nothing. I can't tell you how many white folks I know. All I hear about, my uncle left me $200,000. You know,
Yeah.
my mama left me $100,000. My sister left me $20,000. You know, they leave them something for them to build on or whatever. Now, sometimes they blow their money like everybody else. But the point is, I hardly ever hear black people that I grew up with, you know, say most black folks that die in my family, we gotta scrape change up to bury them.
Right.
They don't even have that.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I thought about that too, and you know what? That's what kind of prompted me to. I started my publishing company because publishing after can last up 70 years after you die, and if they keep renewing it, they still get. You know what I'm saying? So if my grandchildren could live off a song that I did, so I was thinking like, you know what? That's a way for me to create some kind of legacy. For, you know what I'm saying, down the line, I might have one hit song that they play no commercials in 50 years. And also too, what I was looking at too was like things like this. You know what I'm saying? In 50 years, this is gonna be worth something. You know what I'm saying? Because Star Wars stuff always increases in value. So I start getting into toys because toys, as long as you keep in the package, people like, okay, so like my niece is 10 years old. My niece is 10 years old right now. In like 25 years, she gonna want to buy back her childhood. So when she gonna start seeing all the toys that are hot now, I can buy those and I can keep those for 20, 25 years. And then at that age, they're gonna be paying top dollar for them because they wanna. Because look at us, I'm 35 years old. I'm trying to buy back Ninja Turtles and Nintendo. You know what I'm saying? Just to remind me, because that's the.
But you got a plan. You putting your hustle together, and that's what's up. But so you know those brothers that go to prison. You got kids, and you go out there and do something stupid, and then you in prison. Now, do you think he was thinking about his kids?
No.
See what I'm saying?
Just trying to get that paper.
You see what I'm trying to say? He ain't thinking about his kid. He thinking about himself. And then he really ain't thinking about himself if he gonna do something stupid to get him 25, 30 years.
Any way you cut it, they are alienated and they feel it. So when I come, I feel a responsibility. They're so glad to see me because I represent something to them, and I can't give them enough. You know, they need me. They need me, and when I'm needed, I have to give. I curse myself afterwards for having no voice usually and being so exhausted that I can't do anything for myself. But when they need me for, and the most important thing is, they are our future. It's an investment as far as I am concerned. When I invest time in young people from colleges, I know that I'm going to get that bread back. You know, bread cast upon the water comes back. Because when I see them doing their thing one day and I'm too old to do anything but sit and look at them, I'm going to say, well, I was part of that. I never intend for my children to look at me and be ashamed and say, Mama, why didn't you do something? You do something.
All right, so you're going to start...
Yeah, America sees black men as like an ongoing threat, like just throughout history. They see us as brash, misogynistic, unapologetic monkeys. And I think it's time for us as black men, black women, to prove to them that we're not. You know, that we are community leaders, family men, business entrepreneurs, but most of all, full of love. Mm-hmm. You know, because I feel we're just like, we have so much pent up anger and aggression. And like, we'll show our love with our certain friends, but like, I feel we all have like deep love and affection, and we just want to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, that's crazy that you said that, man. Because me and my brother, like, you know what? This is a problem that I have. It's like, I want to be able to be like, hey, bro, like, when you say this, that kind of sends me to a level to where I might want to fight you. But we can't say that because then we know he going to go straight for the jugular whenever times get hard. Oh, I'm going to start talking about his mama, and they know that that's what pisses you off. It's like, bro, just don't talk about my mama, bro. We can go anywhere else. Don't say nothing. You can lay down the law and say like, but then a brother gonna want to test you at some time. He gonna be like, I'm gonna say something and then I'm like, you can't whoop me. You know, like, that was one thing growing up. But you can't whoop me. You can't whoop me. And they gonna try to test you with that. You know what I'm saying? They gonna try to put you. Well, do something about it. Do something. You know what I'm saying? Force you to react violently. You know what I mean? So a lot of times you have to keep those things to yourself. That your buttons, your sensitive areas to yourself. Right. Because you don't want nobody being able to own you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a form of power.
Like, I'm going to give you an example. I work for the security company, and the ladies, like, I could never tell them what days I like working, what places I like working, because I want them to use it against me. If I say, oh, I can't work weekends, guess what? Yeah, you're going to have to work weekends or else. Yeah. Well, I don't like working at that site. They're going to put me there full time. Mm-hmm. So they ask me, they would test me. They'd be like, so how you like working over there? I'm like, it's as good as any place. Well, what days you feel like working? I mean, whatever days you guys need me.
Yeah, neutral. You got to be neutral all the time.
Yeah, so that was how and then like after like a couple years they're like, man, we can't get to them. So instead of like, well, if we can't beat them, then join them. Like it became about like then I became, you know, well, I'm gonna give you an example. When I first got with that company, I failed my first drug test. But the crazy part about it is that I had been working for 2 weeks before they got my drug test back, and I had been requested by like 3 clients. They're like, oh, we like this guy, we want him out of our store full time. Then boom, they get the drug test back, and they're like, ooh, hold on, you know what I'm saying? So they look up, and then they're like, well, you know what? We like you. And they gave me, long story short, they put me a 6-month plan. They didn't fire me. They get like, we gonna randomly drug test you for the next 6 months. If you come out clean, then we'll keep you. Right. And then within them 6 months, I was employee of the month. You know what I'm saying? And but going back to the story, it's like you have to keep stuff to yourself because they'll use that against you. It's always a war. Like, we always feel like we're never comfortable. We're always in a war zone where we got to keep our emotions to ourselves. We can't let nobody, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, you get jaded. Like, I think a lot of times black people get jaded because they never let to express themselves. When we express ourselves, it's usually through music or you know what I'm saying, art or sports or stuff that we don't have access to, like tennis or golf. You know what I'm saying? Like, so a lot of times we don't have an out for our emotions. because we can't talk to each other about stuff, and it usually comes out through violence. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't talk to this brother about it. The only way he gonna know that I'm hurting is if I knock him upside the head, or I rob this liquor store, or I go out and we always say that I don't give a. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a. We have that mentality, and when I don't care, nigga, you know what I'm saying? We quick to do that to show people that we hurting them. Like, you know what, my life.
We're trying to hide our pain. That's I think a lot of times we're not.
My life don't mean nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? My life don't mean nothing to me. You know, it's a way of showing people that if you care about your life, then you're at a disadvantage when it comes to messing with me. I told this one guy at one of my jobs, they were the white dudes and carry pistols, and they always tactical everything. Oh, tactical. Oh, I carry Glock, tactical, and I got the vest. And I tell you know what? You got that vest on, that automatically put you at a disadvantage. Because my logic, I go at a different logic to mess with people. I said, you got that vest on, that already put you at a disadvantage. He's like, why you sit at me? He said, I'll shoot through my chest to hit you. You know what I'm saying? So you worried about, I got to preserve my life. I'm ready to kill me to kill you. Right. So think about that one. And then he just...
Right. I guess I'm kind of guilty. Well, I don't say. I guess I'm the kind of person and I shouldn't be this way, but I feel like I'm kind of like you. Like we need to show the world that we smarter and better than that. And I don't know if that's the attitude I should have, because I remember. Anybody ever see that movie? Remember that movie with Denzel Washington?
Which one?
The Soldier Story or something like that.
Glory?
No. When he killed the Sarge, but the Sarge told the story about this black guy that was in France. He said that they had told the white girls, the French girls, that us niggas had tails, and they said they paid this black guy to put a tail on his ass and run across the stage. And they said, then the Sarge said, then the nigga had the nerve to ask what we had done wrong when we cut his throat. You know what I mean? He was that embarrassed.
Yeah.
That they was willing to hurt somebody if you embarrassed them in front of white folks. And we can't be, I don't want to ever sound like we should be angry at black folks that we find to be embarrassing in front of white folks. You know what I'm trying to say? But it comes a point where we have to realize that how people perceive you, they're going to perceive the group. Exactly. You see what I'm trying to say? Exactly. And that's where black folks have to fight with each other, is that, look, brother, I know you, and I want you to do you, but when you go out here and do a dumbass crime, you go out there and rob a Circle K and get away with $5 and you shot somebody,
right? That's
going to make me look bad. So now when I go into the store, they looking at me, got their guns ready, to pop on me because it's something somebody else does. That's just, we have to accept that as black men. Yeah. But we refuse to, no offense, but we refuse to say, you know what, I got to carry myself that represent the best of us.
Right.
No. But we refuse. We want to go out there as individuals and think I can go out there and do some dumb ass shit and it shouldn't affect nobody but me, or you don't care. Now, that's where I get mad like Sarge. Okay, look, brother, you can't be out there doing this kind of stuff. It makes us all look bad. And he say, look, I don't give a damn. Now I'm mad at him. Because now my son, my grandson, whatever, they're going to have to deal with the consequences of other black men's actions. That's not fair. You know what I'm trying to say? But how do we can't bridge that gap? It's like black folks have this individual. A lot of us have this, I'm an individual. I can do what I want to do. And it's not.
Somebody said that recently. They kept bringing up the individuality. Oh, it's just look out for self and self. Mm-hmm. And when I hear that, it's a red flag for me because our as a people, our survival depends on us working together as a people.
Thank you.
So, but going back to what you were saying is, we don't regulate ourselves enough, and we need to learn how to regulate ourselves as a community and say, look. But I think that what happens is we got daddies to sit there and whoop you. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times. I always tell people this: there's a difference between correcting people and checking people. Like when you're a kid, you need to be checked. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the way you're gonna get molded as a human being. Now, two grown men, we gotta correct each other, because if not, we're gonna end up fighting and killing each other. Mm-hmm. Like I need to learn how to approach a situation respectfully. You know what I'm saying? And not to say children don't deserve respect, but a lot of times it's like, if I'm paying the bills, you eat in my house, I paid the cost to be the boss. So
it's not a debate.
Yeah, it's not a debate. So like, look, you know what I'm saying? That's what
cut that grass.
Exactly. So that's the difference. When we two grown men and we got opinions that differ, we gotta learn to we gotta understand that what we believe isn't an absolute to everybody. It might be an absolute to us, but I understand that. Hey, you know what? He didn't grow up like this, or you know what I'm saying. He has a different perspective on this, and I think whenever I read a book by Covey, it was called Crucial Conversations, where he said there's a pot. And we are allowed to pour into the pot, and nobody's allowed to take nothing out. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't allowed to say like, well, I don't agree with that because it's like, you know what? I understand that that's your opinion. That's good that you have an opinion, but this is how I feel.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's not about knocking your idea out of the pot. It's about just pouring mine. Okay, he poured. At the very least, if I don't agree with you, I at least I gained something from that because now I have a glimpse into your mentality.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So whatever you said helped me understand you a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? But we don't want to take that when like, you know what? I know my brother gets sensitive when it comes to this. I'm not gonna come at him like that. You know what I'm saying? This is gonna be allow our relationship to last longer because I know what his boiling points are, and I'm gonna try to avoid those. I say, look. Like when me and my brother had this conversation, it says, "Why you always get offensive whenever I'm trying to tell you something?" I said, "Bro, I'm a musician. If I'm not feeling your tone, I'm not hearing your song." I'm like, if you want to effectively communicate with me, just watch your tone. 9 times out of 10, I'm going to probably agree with you. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm going to try to find some kind of compromise to be able to meet you halfway. You know what I'm saying? But when you come to me for the first 2 words, like I'm automatically put into a defensive, he growling at me because lower tones in men's voices triggers me.
See, and this is why my passion is ultimately, hopefully we can raise money and start building private schools because that's the shit these kids need to learn in school, not when they get grown and go to prison.
Right.
So we're not learning those communication skills, in the streets.
I have a quick story. So I was on the light rail, and this guy, older guy, I think he was like homeless. He was just like eating and making a mess, and I'm like just doing me, but I'm seeing him out of the corner of my eye. So I'm like, all right, let me see if he picks up his trash. He doesn't. He gets up, he leaves out the train. And I'm like, yo, you left your trash. And then he looked at me, and the train was kind of packed. And then he went and he got his stuff. So I don't know, it could be disrespectful, he's older, but at the same time, everybody's here. Grab your trash and take it outside.
Right.
Like, it's a decent human being thing to do.
Yeah.
Right.
But we got to get back to that's the thing.
Correction
Our
and checking.
culture, our culture now, we leaving those things behind. And we got to get back, because that's destruction for the black. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. To me, black people, our race here in this country, if you say, Akeem, where do you see us 50 years from now? I don't know. Because the young generation is not showing me that they're going to pick up the buck and continue this. What they show me is that they have no respect for nobody. It's all this rap. I don't want to blame the rap culture, but it's all about, when I see young cats, man, they don't have it's no yes sir, no sir, not even yes or no. It's a what, and it just, you don't have that. Like when I was coming up, we had yes sir, no. So we had to say that sometimes.
Yeah.
You was taught that.
Even when you was angry, and
you was taught that.
When you would have knocked your daddy head off, you still had to say it.
Yeah. And when older folks talk to you, you listen to them. You had that humility. You know what I mean? Like if we was young, we want to smoke a cigarette. We would go in the woods and hide and smoke our cigarette. These kids don't. They walk down the street, smoke right in front of you. 12, 13. I mean, that's the culture we have. So the thing is, are we raising a group of the next generation behind us? Are they prepared for the obstacles that lie ahead of them? And I don't know if we're preparing them. I just can't say we're preparing them.
We only respond to violence, man, and it sucks to say that, but I mean, a good ass whooping just builds character. Cause I mean. I got beat up in, you know what I'm saying, in public school, but you just learned, like, okay, there's extremes in life, man. There's like, you get coddled and you get your ass whooped. Those are the extremes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what keeps you in the threshold of being a decent person. Like, okay, your mama is there to coddle you, but your daddy's there to whoop your ass. Like, I think that's that balance. It keeps you there in the middle to where, like.
So we go back to, like I said, if the statistic is true, 70% of African American children are being born to single mothers, which means they only getting the cuddle.
Yeah.
They're not getting that other part that balances them out. So what does that tell us 50 or 100 years down the road? If we continue this rate, more than likely the number's going to increase. So we're probably looking at the next 15, 20 years, it's going to be 80% of African American children being born to, you see what I'm saying? Now we at 90%. So when we get that point where there are no fathers no more, I mean, that's like a small group of us. That's the minority in the black community now. Fathers at home. What are you gonna do with all these other kids if the mom if she don't have the skills and the intellect to pull it through? Which is not an easy job in this day and time. And then she don't have the education, she don't have the money. Even the black women who do have got the good jobs, well, they got to work all the time. So who's raising their kids?
I think this is a start though right here, is where a place where we can pull our resources, you know what I'm saying, our knowledge, and not be on some and one of the things that I was looking at is like an organization where there ain't no heads. Usually with black folks, we always want to be in charge, and then it's like, oh, I'm gonna be in charge. I want to be the, you know what I'm saying? I want to be the head and in charge. Mm-hmm. That's what our mentality is. And if we create these organizations to where, you know, they can't run without us. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the problem with black.
You got to install them when they're young. You can't catch a young mind when the world done already seduced them.
Right, exactly.
You know, it's too late. Exactly. You got to be the first influence on them. What we're talking about, instead of now they 17, 18. It's just like, I know cats in Philadelphia, right? Their father go to jail when they're 2 or 3, right? Pops get out of jail, now they're 17, 18, then Pops trying to put down the law. It hardly ever works out that way.
Yeah.
You gotta work your way in. If you come in when he's 17, you just gotta play it smooth. You gotta figure that person out. You gotta figure out his habits, things that need to be fixed. You can't just jump in and be like, all right, you got to do this and that.
But the odds are against you, because your father just got out of, let's say you that kid, he just got out of prison for doing the shit that you're doing now. He know he don't have time to kiss your ass and cuddle you.
Yeah.
Because you on your way. He see if you're making the same mistakes he making, he's pissed off. Like, you know, I get pissed off with my son sometimes when I like, dude, I'm telling you that's not the way. I've done it that way. At least be creative. Come up with a new way. But you're doing something this is like telling a drug dealer. He's 15 or 17 and he become a drug dealer. That's what he want to do. You trying to tell him, you know, that's prison or the grave. And he thinks he's smarter than the game. He don't know the game has already been laid out.
Yeah, he don't know the rules.
He don't know how to play the game.
You got people like Jay-Z's is the exception to the rule, but America is telling us that is the rule. You know what I'm saying? So they always put they always get a mic to our ignorant, to the ones that, you know what I'm saying, to the ones that the exceptions of the rule are the bad examples. They always put the mic in front of that. If you watch somebody's house burn down, it's always the most ignorant person they can find in the neighborhood. They go get them.
Brother, you mind? Can we play her thing from what we was talking about?
Yeah.
Where she's talking about like the culture and everything.
And to me, we have a culture that is surpassed by no other civilization, but we don't know anything about it. So again, I think I've said this before in the same interview. I think at some time before, my job is to somehow make them curious enough or persuade them by hook or crook to get more aware of themselves and where they came from and what they are into and what is already there, and just to bring it out. This is what compels me to compel them, and I will do it by whatever means necessary.
Okay, so Liberia, this was territory that was set up for free slaves. So they had free slaves in this country, and the government and white slave masters got together and they actually purchased land in Liberia, and they sent these slaves there to build and to, you know, start a life on their own. And slaves that was caught on slave ships going to America or any other place in the world, the British Navy would take those slaves and take them to Liberia. So you had this group of Liberians there that was from America and other places. But you also had a native group that was already there. But with the support of America and other foreign investors, those black slaves prospered in Liberia. They did really well. But they was like they was, so to speak, the majority. They had all the power, and you had this large majority of native Africans who was already there, but they didn't have the power like they called them the Americanos. Okay, so I mean, these are the slaves that came from America and went to Liberia. But a long story short, what happened was, eventually they started fighting over everything, man. They started fighting over power. They started fighting. Some groups felt like they was taking like the Americans who were slaves or used to be slaves was taking advantage of the people that was there. So they basically got into a civil war, and they started like in the 70s or maybe even the early 80s. But the point was, when I started reading a little bit about it, what happened was the blacks that were sent there were educated blacks. Number one, who educated them? White America.
Colonizers did.
There you go. So because they had the education of the colonizer, who agenda did they push forward?
The colonizer.
All right.
Yeah.
I was wondering, why did they loan these Africans so much money and build? Well, they built Liberia up. You know, America and Britain, whoever those foreign investors. So you know, again, when you have their education, you push their agenda.
Exactly.
And black folks still going to.
We do that to each other all the time.
We're still going to their institutions. They're still educating us, and we refuse to, you know, do our own research and learn our own African, you know, history and start educating ourselves, find out who we are. We are those free slaves who the white man has educated. So we still push forth his agenda. And I say this to say that black folks make more people rich in this country than anybody else. Yet we're the poorest when it comes. We have the less power. You know, black women, I heard, spend $1 billion a year on weave, and not one of them own a weave store, so to speak. You see what I'm trying to say? The football players, how much you think they make? A lot of money. You can imagine what the league makes.
Yeah.
Have them brothers got together and formed a school, something, anything, a business school to even teach them from being broke.
Well, I think it's like the spook to still. What is it? The spook to still by the door or hid by the door. I think a lot of times we feel like we're too like I noticed that too. It's like we create a lot of noise when we move together. So it's like if it's like 5 of us. We go like It's like so. Like I had this one brother back when we was out there doing illegal stuff, whatever. He didn't like having more than like a couple brothers in the car with him, and he had like this ratio, and it was like. I laughed at him because he's like, man, like we too hot. There's 3 of us in the car, and I'm like, wait, hold on. So it's like, every brother that you got in the car is like a 25% extra chance that you're gonna get pulled over.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's really.
So 2 brothers got a 50% chance of getting pulled over. 3 brothers got a 75% chance.
4 of us 100%.
Yeah.
But see, that and thing about it that we perpetuate because, and I hate to say this, but a lot of the times, you know, I know people I grew up with. The cop pull them over. And damn, if the cop said, well, I smell marijuana. And then, truth be told, well, I had smoked a joint earlier. So then again, we're still participating in our own downfall.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm older, right? But I look at folks, I'm like, why would you get in the car and drink, smoke marijuana? That just ain't cool. That just now can get you some serious time in jail if they so choose.
It takes you 30 minutes to get to most destinations. If you can't go half an hour without smoking, what is your problem? Like,
right.
But we want to be cool in our car with our head turned around, bumping music,
Not
because that's how we look in the rap videos.
The laws are made to get you jammed up in their system. And we walk right in the system because they are the ones educating us. We still getting their education. So, of course, they're going to use us any kind of way they want to because we're too dumb or we're just not thinking about it. But, you know, I was watching this documentary and they talking about this football player. If you ever watch on YouTube, the Lifestyle, The Rich and the Famous, they had that for like a lot of black people. And I can't believe how many black folks got 3-4 mansions, $1 million homes. There's nothing wrong with that, except for that we're in a system that oppresses us financially. So when you do make it, you have to open the flood. You have to open the gates for others. But black people ain't taught that. They taught, I got it made, you get yours, I got mine. But that's why, you know, our young children still being shot in the street because we can't teach them how not to get in. In most cases, it can be avoided. It's not a lot of cases in which when police officers shoot young black people, it couldn't have been avoided. You see what I'm trying to say?
Well, you know, and
it's a bad thing, but I'm saying most cases we can avoid it. If nothing else but stop participating in this system. You know what I mean? We should have our own communities.
I feel like we get disguised. Like we can disguise ourselves, but they help us out each other because they put out our rappers with pants hanging out their ass. And whenever you look at a kid and you see him looking like a rapper, you know he's perpetuating that lifestyle. So he probably got weed, he probably got a gun, he probably got this, he probably because you know what I'm saying. But, so as an enemy, it's a red flag when you see that kid with his pants. He's like, okay.
And this is what I'm talking about with the hip hop culture and like I was telling earlier, I wrote down, you know, Nicki Minaj, Beyonce, Little Kim. All right, young women, especially African American girls, they're starting to worship these girls and idolize them.
Right.
So they think that this is what life is all about: being beautiful, knowing how to shake your hips and all that. And then what happens is you create a culture of black women being sexualized. You see what I'm trying to say? So then what happens is we see women who act that way as sexual objects, and then on the same time, you can't go to your job and say, "Hey, girl, you cute." Now you lose your job for sexual harassment.
Right.
But all we see them you gyrating all the time on TV. But more importantly, these girls don't give no other message other than entertainment.
Right.
Who agenda is that? I don't want to see black
Supporting
women.
women.
Yeah, but I don't want to see black women being exploited for their bodies.
But then again too, we don't like them being in strong roles neither though. Like most men, you know what I'm saying? We like, I was listening to this thing.
But isn't that sexy though?
It is okay. So I'm on this thing, and this girl, this lady, and I knew her from like Tinder, but then we ended up like in the same group in like Facebook. I was like, wow, all right, this is kind of crazy. So she was going up telling them about how like her church and organization, like the church that she goes to, actually helps her when she was sick. That they like put money together. And this one brother was like Muhammad something, and I was like, he already had that mentality to where like women shouldn't be leaders, and you know what I'm saying? And he was just like, you know what I'm saying? It was like the chauvinistic type of man.
People out here, you put him in the back seat. In fact, put him in the trunk. We don't have time for people like that. I mean, because they're so outdated, man.
Yeah.
Right. So
You know.
but okay. Another one of the things I was wanted to mention was about the suits, like about our attire. You know what? White man could throw in a suit, and you know what? He can conceal. It's like a camouflage. Because you see somebody on a suit knocking on your door, you don't know. It could be a Jehovah's Witness. Mm-hmm. It could be the police. It could be a pastor. It could be, you know what I'm saying?
FBI.
You don't know who it is.
Yeah.
But that's how they hide themselves in a suit. Mm-hmm. We don't hide ourselves too well because we got pants.
We show just who we are.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So
you said something earlier, Hakeem. You were like, "Oh, we don't represent. We don't represent for the culture.
Right.
Like, we just, you know, I want to sag my pants. I want to do this. I want to do that.
Right.
Like,
And if we lived in a world where you truly could be an individual, then that might not be a bad thing. But your behavior will directly impact on how the majority of people treat you. You know what I'm trying to say? That's just the truth. I mean, in other words, they see us on TV and they see Eddie Murphy's, and let's say like the guys who they're comics, they comedy.
Yeah.
You see, it's not until they see a Denzel Washington that they realize that we're more than just funny people. We can do more than just make people laugh. But if you see the majority of us as in a comedy, a comic role or whatever, that's what they're gonna think that we like. And then when Donald Trump go out there and talk to Steve Harvey, we get offended. We get offended, but most of our actors that we know are comedians. We don't have a lot of Denzel Washingtons and think about it. Name, like we got Denzel Washington, Larry Fishburne kind of fell off. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, he used to be, but now he does whatever.
Wesley Snipes fell off.
Wesley Snipes fell off. So let's name our top black actors: Denzel Washington.
Wesley Snipes, Will Smith,
Will
Kevin Hart.
Right. Yeah, he's a comedian. He's a comedy. I'm saying he's a comedy. Serious roles like Denzel, like on that stand. Not Kevin Hart.
Well, you know what's crazy too is they always try to feminize him. Even what's the big dude name with the
Dwayne The Rock.
gyros, Mexican Mediterranean tacos.
Oh, Ben Rames.
Yeah. He even had him in the Holiday Heart movie. He had to play the.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Well, I shouldn't say that. I should say gay guy. But the point is, though, these images matter, and that's the problem with black folks. We tend to want to not believe that our behavior affects others, but it does. Images matter, man. We have to realize that.
I say I gotta work hard. You know what? I'm always early for work. And they like, man, you like an hour early. I was like, you know what? When I worked out there in Apple Mesa, I was always the first at the gate, and this one white dude hated it. Like, me and him would compete to be the first ones there, because he didn't like it. He didn't like it that a black man was there before him. And I was like, but if I wasn't, then you would talk about how they get late all the time.
Or they lazy, or they don't like working, or they
he shows to the gate, and my car is already up there. I used to just love the feeling of like you behind, because they used to be in first.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But let me say this before I forget, and I'll say this in closing for me. Like, you take somebody like Nina Simone, if you listen to what she's saying, how she carries herself, how she talks, and And to me, that's an African woman because she's a free thinker. There was nobody in the corner telling her, hey, go out there and act like you care about the community and talk like you're intelligent. This is who she is. Our entertainers now, like the Beyoncés, we don't know who they are anymore. We know they got nice hips. We know if you take off the makeup, you really don't know how they really look because all you ever see them is in makeup. But if you think about 20, 30 years ago, when you seen a black woman, when you seen a Shaka Khan or Diana Ross or what's the other name, Gladys Knight, you know how they look. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, women put so much material makeup on or whatever. You know, the fake hair, the fake eyes. So in other words, there's no identity. There's we don't know. When you see them, when young women see these women, they don't see anything other than an image of what beauty should be. And
I always say ain't nobody stronger in America than an ugly black woman. You know what I'm saying? Because she's not using her sexuality as a resource. She probably done educated the hell out of herself. She done went to the school of hard knocks. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at Maya Angelou. She wasn't nothing to look at. You know what I'm saying? Look at.
No, in her day she was built nice. See, you familiar with the old? You gotta go back to when Maya Angelou was in her 20s when she used to work in the dance club. Look at what she would do. I'm telling you. She was built nice, man. She was tall. She's about 6 foot tall. She was curvy. She was thick. I'm telling. Look it up, dude. I checked it out because I said, let me check her. I checked her out in her biography. Man, when she was a young sister, she looked good, bro. See, you familiar when she got her 50s? You didn't know her when she was 20. We weren't even born then.
I only got that headshot of her. That's all I got.
You don't know Maya when she was young, bro. I'm telling you, bro.
Miss Calypso, she wasn't that bad.
She wasn't bad. She wasn't bad. Yeah, and she was built nice, man. Yeah, but that's what the older generation is supposed to do. We don't pass down nothing no more, neither. Like my mom. When I was a little kid, I was playing football in North Carolina. I was playing for the orphanage. We called it the Wildcats. In those days, you still had a black orphanage and a white orphanage. But when my grandmother lived there, which was probably the 30s, 40s, maybe the 40s. Let's say the 40s, early 40s. They had white schools and black schools. It was segregated, okay? But anyway, long story short, when I went there, the schools was integrated, but the orphanage was still segregated. I didn't know that my grandmother, who I never met because she died before I was born, she used to go to that orphanage. That was the black school. That was the segregated black school. And I was, in other words, I never knew that until just a few years ago. I was like, Mom, why didn't you tell me that when I was there? I would have had that history that my grandmother walked these same ground. I'm on the same ground that my grandmother used to walk. You understand what I'm saying? Because she died way before I was born. But my mom said, Mom, why didn't you pass? That was important to me.
Yeah. But
see, black folks, we don't even know. We could be ignorant. But to pass down history is valuable to what next is to. It enriches your life more than money. But see, that's what's going on with us now. We don't have nothing. We have money. Well, some of us got money. And every day we wake up is get out there and make some money. That's all we're doing is chasing money. We're not.
The money doesn't give nothing. You think
that's
about
my point, though.
Suicide and the people going broke and bankrupt,
that's my point,
people
bro.
Are still powerless.
That's my point. The problem with us is we're not passing down things other than money. We're passing down, they look cool, to dress nice, to be gangster, all that. We need to realize, let me tell you something. When we had our first couple of meetings and people showed up, they didn't come back, right? That's cool. I tell you what, though, let us have $1 million on that table that we were sitting at. I bet you some of the brothers
I'm glad a lot of the brothers, because we filtering out the ones that I'm like, okay, at least we know we got a core group right here. You know what I'm saying? And so a lot of people, they're gonna try to get in later on. And that's my thing is like, I've always been the type of person that, when I go into another group, I always just try to be a participant. There's always that one person that always want to make me feel like an outsider. And then like later on, I'm going to be the center of the group, and then you're going to be the one that's going to be the outsider. But I'm going to still let you in.
Let me tell you two guys something. You guys are enough. That's all we need is each other. That's the secret that they hiding from us.
Yeah.
That's the secret, man. All we need is each other. Once we learn how to communicate and get on with each other, then we can start thinking, and then we can start putting our thoughts into action. We unstoppable. But you know, the system has always been able to say, here, man, look, I'm going to give you a couple of dollars, but I need you to disassociate with them.
Yeah.
They did it to our politicians.
Right.
Martin Luther King, one of them. They always were trying to tell him what to do. We'll finance this movement. We'll do that. You know what? For once, black men need to say just us. It has nothing to do about being racist. It's the farthest thing from being racist. It's, to me, to make light of it, it's like the little chihuahuas get together and say, no, we know you're the big dog, and we know we can get a lot further, a lot faster with big dog money. But us chihuahuas, we want to do it on our own.
Right.
We don't want no, you know, leave us alone. Let us try to do this. If we reach out for help, hopefully you'll help us. If not, fine. Black men are scared of that. You know, it's like, you know, we all want to walk with the big dog. That's the bottom line.
We're afraid of being vulnerable, putting ourselves,
and then we chasing that money.
And trust, trust makes you vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? It really does. And a lot of us, we don't like that vulnerability, so we really don't trust each other. So it's hard to get anything done when you don't trust. You know what I'm saying?
But then again, think about it. I was telling my friend of mine. I said all our black women throughout history in this country, whenever she become like on top, it's like she got to marry a white man. I mean, very few black women go to the top and don't marry. And I'm not saying they're never married to a black man, but
I can't get mad at them neither because like they go
faster, farther.
They might want to be a homeowner. They might not want their kids getting shot in the street. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's like, you know what? In America, it's like when black men and black women be like, hey, you know what? We just trying to survive. Good luck to you. I'm gonna go ahead and get this white girl because I know that America ain't gonna let her starve. But you know.
But let's be honest though. Too. Let's look at it from this point. We all seen the movie. What's Love Got to Do with It? Now, for Tina, I can see why that sister would go and marry a white man because the way if the movie is telling the truth, I put her through, and that's what I'm trying to get at too. A lot of us, we can't really talk about our women when they do go outside the race because it's really us pushing them out there.
Right.
So that means we.
I ain't been the best example of man. Somebody was saying about the other day about a good man. I was like, there ain't no good man. There ain't no good one. It's like, you know what? Like I said, we all got the potential to do evil. You know what I'm saying? But there's just no regulator. There's nobody holding us accountable. In a relationship, you got to be held accountable. You got
What's good? Because good, everybody has a different definition.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
So vague.
It really is love. Explain love. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, everybody's different.
Let me say this: the kind of guy I am, right? If you took me to China and dropped me off in China, okay, I'm probably gonna be hollering at Chinese girls. I'm gonna be looking for the most prettiest Chinese girls I can find. If you took me to Europe, I'm probably gonna holler at Europe women. What I'm saying is, to me, it's about environment.
Right.
We in a situation where we're losing the black family. So for that being said, now I say, hey, it's important for black men and black women to get together to preserve our very existence in this country.
I like black women, but I like black women that aren't loud. To me, like loud black women. It's like they get under my skin.
But I can't let you. I gotta keep saying when we talk about each other, we have to understand who educated us, who educated them.
If you think about it, all black people are loud.
Yeah.
So even in Africa, I was watching African movies and stuff. I was like, damn, African people loud too.
Yeah, myself included. Like, dude said the other day, he kind of offended me, but he was just probably using his voice. I was like, hey, brother, you got this loud for a reason. No, I was hearing the I was seeing something. And I was like, dang, bro, I was just trying to see if the lights was broken. And I took it kind of offense, but it's, no, everything is okay. And I was like, man, he wasn't trying to be offensive, he was just boisterous. You know what I'm saying? So it's like.
But black people, the thing is, we have to re-educate ourselves, man. Our education has let us down, and it's not our fault. If you went to public school, you probably didn't get the true history. Right. African American history in this country started from slavery. That wasn't really nothing we wanted to be proud of. And then we went from slavery to what? Civil rights movement. That wasn't nothing really to be proud of. Well, we went from civil rights movement to what now? And what's our movement now?
Well, and here's the thing.
Lives matter.
And the way I was taught, is to use the most effective strategy. And if I'm getting like black women, like they're strong, they're boisterous. Because they've had to deal with all the crap that we put them through. So, black women are kind of intimidating in a way because, if we get in an argument, she's going to take it to a level that's I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's ready to, put it all on the line for this argument that don't mean nothing to me.
And she will get in your face, and she will push the button.
Exactly. So, my thing is, you know what? like a lot of times I've learned to say, you know what? Because a lot of times I'll meet black women that's trying to get my attention or see them somewhere, and then they raise their value because they want the attention. A lot of times, so I pick up on that. If I'm in a grocery store, I see at the corner of my eye this black girl looking and she with her friends be like, "Oh, girl," and she turns it up a couple of octaves, a couple of decibels. I'm like, she's trying to get my attention, so I'm gonna ignore her. Because I gotta show her that, hey, that's not the way that you get attention. Because if we keep perpetuating that, who's that? Oh, who that sister over there? Oh, she got her cheeks hanging out. We keep,
damn, she fine.
yeah, we keep.
But we gotta. But at the same token, brothers, we have to keep in mind. Like, let me ask you a question. Let's say all these fathers show up and they bring all their kids bicycles, right, on the playground, and everybody's father showed up and gave him a bike. Your father showed up, but he didn't have no bike for you, right?
Right.
You'd be a little butthurt. You'd be like, damn, Dad. So to me, I look at it the same way. Mother Nature has given every group of men on this planet his woman. Okay? We have to not forget that and be grateful that Mother Nature blessed us with her. Either way, we have to be grateful that we got her, because if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be who we is. So we have to start thinking, well, we're going on what society has created, and that is the black woman. You know, he created that. If you go way back into watching, I watched old issues like The Birth of a Nation, and they had a white woman, but she was in blackface.
Time out. The original one? Or
Yeah, the original one.
Okay.
They had
like
a black
1912.
Yeah. And it's funny because they had the two black folks that I remember the most was the black maid. She was a white woman dressed like a black woman, right? And then the folks who came from the north had a black butler. He was a white dude, but they were two black, and they were fighting each other the whole. You know, every time you see them, they fussing with each other. You know, so that's this culture that we have has been created for us.
Right.
So I'm saying, so neither one of us are in our true state. So we have to try to, like, before we really can communicate with each other, we got to first disassociate ourselves with our man-made or our created identity. In other words, you know, somebody done taught you that you was, I don't know, let's say they tell you, hey, man, you're a fighter. And they say, hey, Akeem, you're a fighter. And then they put us both in the same ring and put a bone in the middle or a check and say, whoever win, get this check. We fight each other. Boom. Yeah. But if somebody teach you, you're not a fighter, man, you're a healer. Akeem, you're not a fighter, you're a healer. Now, we in there trying to heal each other. So what I'm saying is, someone done told black women they're supposed to act this way and be this way, or, you know, directly or indirectly. And black men, you know, we kind of like we don't understand them. Well, why you gotta be so fortunate? Why you gotta be so hard? You know, but the thing is, we're gonna have to re-educate ourselves when it comes to dealing with our women too.
What do you think?
But we gotta be willing to talk to them like we talking like right now.
Right.
Like we gotta like, hey, you know what? It's not cute when you out there acting out and shaking your ass.
Yeah.
Every time you hear some music, you start moving. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like those are mating things. And
yeah, I like that. Those amazing things. So to me, I told somebody the other day, that's Friday, Saturday night at the club.
Right.
If you showed up with a see-through and your breasts is hanging out, I'm cool with that on the club.
And I'm
but not in this classroom teaching school, not walking down the street 12 o'clock in the afternoon in the library.
Right, and I'm gonna say this: I mean, black women are the most loyal when it comes to they dudes, but you almost got to put the fear of God in them. Most of and it sucks to say that, but I see like the dudes that got the most loyal chicks is like niggas that whoop their ass, go to jail every week. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, not scared to get up in their face and choke them out a little bit. But then, like, if you, like, show anything less than that, they're not, like, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. So,
and that's true, because I had girls tell me that I was soft. You know, you a soft. I heard girls say, you a soft-ass nigga. You know, I call myself trying to highlight, and we got into a little disagreement or something. And she said, you're an old soft-ass nigga.
Right,
you know,
and that's
like,
the point where you're supposed to show her something otherwise. Like, I'm gonna squeeze the life out of you, and that's
then I'm thinking about consequence.
That's it.
If I could have slapped this out and got away with it, I probably would have.
But you know what? I think that goes back to dopamine. High dopamine. Women are attracted to high risk taking men. You know what I'm saying? Like if he ain't scared to go to jail, he's not thinking about the consequences. They're more attracted to men like that. You know what I'm saying?
Adrenaline rush.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The high dopamine. Like I was looking at the psychology of it. It's like they don't. I know he gonna go to work every day, come home every Friday with a check, sit in that chair and drink his beer. He's too predictable. They want the dude that's gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna go out and rob this liquor store. I'm gonna do some crack real quick. I'm gonna do a bump and I'm gonna have sex with your sister. Go to jail for like 2 weeks and then you're gonna bail me out because you're gonna, you know, and then we gonna do this. You don't know what I'm gonna do, girl. Woo, this is exciting. You know what I'm saying? Like that's, and they're like, okay, I get a little bit of romance and excitement with my, you know what I'm saying, and they intrigued by that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. They're intrigued by it, definitely.
What do you guys think black people could do to find their identity besides educating themselves?
Me personally, I think this is me personally. I think we're gonna have to have interest in understanding where we're from, which is Africa, and learning as much as we can the culture of Africans. That's where we can start, because we're trying to build a culture within a culture that's anti-black culture. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So we're wasting our time trying to come over here and build a culture. 'Cause first of all, we don't know who we are. That's what I'm saying. We're trying to build a culture. Everything we have in this country has been given to us. I can't even honestly say we fought and got anything. One day, white man wake up and say, get them to get their rights. Let them ride the bus. Let them go to school. He didn't really have to do it.
right.
It wasn't like we had him under the gun. He had to do it.
Because they got more smart about refining their slavery methods. You know what I'm saying?
That,
And like,
thank you.
and having like a simulated freedom.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man, you hit that on the button. So when they did let us free, they had already figured out a way, or they kind of knew what we was going into, which was another form of slavery.
They playing
It's
chess.
better.
They playing chess.
They
We playing
chess,
checkers.
and we playing checkers. Exactly. That's my biggest gripe with black men, is that I want us to wake up and stop playing chess.
Well, you know what I think we need to do is we need to go assimilate, like not assimilate, but we need to go and observe. We need to be observed, like observe different cultures and find out what works for them and apply that to our new culture. Instead of looking back at something.
Yeah, we doing the podcast. Okay. All right.
So I think what we need to do is go experience, first of all, experience other cultures and find out what works for them and decide, okay, take what we want out of that and then leave the rest behind. Okay, I don't like it how they beat their women. I don't like how they objectify, but I like it how they get together and they strong, like Japanese people.
Here's the definition of right.
They get more, they're more together, like they teach you to work as a unit. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look at America, we only taught to work as a unit in corporate America. Like don't
Teamwork.
yeah,
Right,
but go out, but don't have that dynamic when you leave here because we don't want you getting together outside of work.
This is bad. This right here is
Yeah,
bad.
Talk
It really
to-
is.
Yeah, exactly.
Free thinking.
Yeah, exactly. Because but that's what it is. Is like we don't want Facebook here. We don't want social media because we don't want any not diversity, but like people going out. What's the word I'm looking for?
Conscious people are starting to wake up.
Yeah.
The YouTube is conscious in the mug, but it's making people conscious.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
learning
So,
that. I never thought I would. I know I would never hear on Fox News.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That's why people like Boyce Watkins don't have their own network because they know somebody gonna try to put the squeeze on them. Because remember back in the day, the news used to put people on blast, but they didn't have no loyalties. It was like they'll put the president on blast.
But
They'll put,
it's business now. The same few
Right.
companies own all the media.
But
they-
the Jews own Hollywood, so and a lot of the entertainment. So you got, you know what I'm saying? Like I mean, you look at it. I mean,
what do we own?
maybe a chicken shack or two.
Yeah, we got a couple of rib joints.
You know,
But the thing is that we're not aggressively pursuing more, and that's what makes us look bad. It's like we see that our children are going to prison. We see that our women are likely to not be married and have kids. We see all these problems, and when a black man shrug his shoulders and say, he turns to Scooby Doo.
well, we need to go somewhere where we're not constantly being attacked. I feel like it's like you getting jumped. Like even if you're the baddest dude, like you gonna have to like run and shake them off you for a second before you be like, hold on, let me catch your breath, because you trying to catch your breath and you catching a punch. You hold on, man, like hold on, let me regroup. Like give me like 5 seconds to regroup. I mean, I don't got a problem fighting you 10 seconds, but just give me like 10 seconds to get some. Like, come on, like allow me some space to be able to breathe before I gotta go at y'all again. But we like, all right, wait, hold on. Let us regroup. Give us a chance to go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And be able to, like, be able to regroup without interference.
Yeah.
I think that's because they realize they can't do that because
That's
you
why
got
we
Black
need
Wall
to-
Streets.
We need to create
You know
that
what I'm
here and abroad. We need to have one place somewhere else. I prefer Africa, where we building economic power and
Right.
ladders and pyramids. We have to. I mean,
And people have to see results and stuff and say, hey, they're out there doing that and I'm involved. Like, you know what
yeah,
I'm
we
saying?
can do. But you know, this is the thing. This is what hurts me. I realize now what I know now. I could have learned this at 18 years old.
Yeah.
I could have this vision now at 18 and 20. But you know, my parents sent me off to public school, and then they was working all the time.
I feel like public school shuts down creativity.
It does, and it always the spots that we excel, like sports, art. You know what I'm saying? The things that we're the best at are always the first programs to get cut in school.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You could teach a man geometry on the freaking basketball court or on the football. You know what I'm saying?
Let me tell you something. The United States government job is to govern the people. Okay. Now, when you govern something, you want to be smarter than it, or you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So if we are allowed to be creative, then we become smarter than the government. That's why we don't need the fucking government. Okay?
Right.
So they want to keep us dummied down and believing that democracy works for all and all that stuff, so they can stay in charge. The government, we really don't need a government per se the way we have it. Whereas
We could probably have like a group of people running it.
That's what I'm thinking. You know,
Instead of just one person who.
But you know what? Absolute power corrupts absolutely, man. And
that's the point I'm saying. It's just the power is unchecked, and that's the problem with government. Anytime you have a group of men who can do whatever without consequence, you're going to get what we have.
But you know what? It's just like anywhere else, man. You know what? You need to have diversity in government. Like, you need to have, like, I'm not feeling these people's government, how they running things. I'm going to go here with this group of people. Like, you know what? The gays need their own community. You know what I'm saying? These people, the Muslims need their own, Christians need their own community where they can be autonomous and not have to deal with, I mean, if they don't want to have to go across the street and deal with the Muslim dude, then they can do that. But see, segregation, people always say this is bad. It's like, I'm not saying I don't want to have to deal with you, but I want the option. You know what I'm saying? But that's what most people have here that black folks don't have is they have the, you know what? It's like, you can be a Mexican, you be here for 30 years and not have to learn English because you didn't have to leave your community.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But see, that's the way of showing them, like, I'm not trying to get down with y'all. I'm cool dealing with my people.
I'm cool with. I ain't trying to learn your language.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need to learn. I need to make that money though.
But yeah, exactly. So
That's
They
it.
speak that peso.
exactly. So
dollar.
we don't have that. But whenever we want it, then they want to try to make it sound like we want segregation and we want to. Oh, see, I don't believe in that. I believe we should all be. I'm like, that's cool, but I want the option because if you don't have the option,
We haven't learned to value ourselves, brother. Like I said, when I met you and I met him, I said that's all we need. You know, but most black people, because you know, being Americanized, we're materialistic, and so we like to see the reward.
right?
Oh, if I see that I can get something out of this or out of you, then I'll pit. And that's why the government in this country do so well, because you know, like when the government, like I said, when the government said, you know, hey son, you want a skill, you want some education, you want some money, you want a car, sign your name. You see what I'm saying? Them black folks, we don't have that same kind of attraction to other black people. We can't just instantly get them a job and put them in a position of a better situation. We just can't do that, but we can build to do that.
We get our leverage. That's what it is. Is when people know that you ain't got options, then they abuse you. You know what I'm saying? It's like an abusive relationship.
Because
you got 5 kids, you can't go nowhere, and then you like, oh.
It's just like if you go to Hollywood, and Hollywood say, you want to be a movie star? And you say,
business
yeah.
that.
Well, sign on the name and drop to your knees. And a lot of people say, okay, that's a small price to pay.
mean,
That's what I want to
Terry
do.
Crews.
You know, so hey, that's how it is. But we have to start building. Like I said, I think the power of black people is that even if we put our money together, if we get most of our money from them, you know what I'm trying to say, it's still our lifeline from them. But we take our money, put it together, then we create our own. Now no one can touch it. If we create it, then it's hard to destroy. It's hard for somebody else.
Exactly, because you know what, a rapper named Bizzle said that, and he's just this Christian rapper, but he was going up against Jay-Z, and he was Macklemore. Like anytime they said anything that attacked his faith, he came blatantly out, and it was just he wasn't using he wasn't just like reading off the Bible and saying like, because he also understands that like not everybody respects these words. He just came at them with truth, and it was so simple that
Damn, that's so true.
yeah, it was just like, man, like, and what he was asking was like, what's your comeback for this? And they didn't have any because they knew what he was saying was true. And it was just like, even like, it had me seeing things like, he's like, the reason why, stop snitching, he's like, you safer in the hood robbing 5 again for $20 or than you are in Hollywood robbing one person for $100. You know what I'm saying? Because he's like we'd rather make the streets safer for the criminals than the kids. You know what I'm saying? But when he started breaking it down like that, I was like,
When I heard that black leaders and black politicians was fighting to get more or fairer sentencing for drug dealers, for black drug dealers, I almost lost my mind. I said all these poor black kids in the hood that they're struggling, need schooling and books, and we out here fighting for drug dealers to get better sentencing. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I understand the drug game. Okay, I got a little bit of knowledge about it, but pound for pound, that is the ultimate betrayal of your community.
Right.
Is to sell drugs.
Right.
Because who does it destroy more than anything? It destroys the black man and the black woman, thus for the kids. Now you can justify selling drugs, to black kids, their parents, destroying so you can drive around in a nice car.
Right.
And these cats, most of them, when they finish, they're either dead or in prison. And none of them can say, hey, you know what? I retired, here's $20 million to build this school or this library. Nothing like that we get from those guys. And we work, and the drug, when I grew up, they had respect in the hood.
Yeah, exactly.
But they the ultimate betrayal of the black community is drug dealers.
Well,
that's the truth.
Because the money is, we respect money and power. You know what I'm saying? We
go along with it.
There's no moral standards when it comes to that.
Well,
you just gotta work. You gotta love your brother. Try to learn something new every day.
Start from scratch, and it starts by just sitting down, talking with respect, establishing. I'm to respect you. You're to respect me.
Right. It's
from the jump.
It's the pot, like you said. Like, all right. And that was one of my things. Was I always said was if you take one idea out of the pot, you got to put two, because now we're not building, we're not multiplying. If you taking stuff out, if you taking my idea out and say, nah, I don't want to do that, I'll be like, you know what? I don't 100% agree with your idea, but it's an idea, it's an option. Right. So even if I don't agree with it, but you can make it happen, then that's better than me just taking it out and not having nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather somebody get their way and have things done effectively than me getting my way and then they're not doing them with like if I know I got a good idea and you got a good idea, but like I really want my idea to be done, but I know that you're in a better position and you have more resources to make your idea happen. Let's go with what you're doing there, because ultimately you're gonna be more productive in doing what you're doing. If you know what I'm saying, if my idea is good but my resources ain't there, then you know what I'm saying.